I don't believe in war games. I watched as a series of hackathons were promoted as some sort of educational or sporting event at universities in the United States, while massive, massive, massive illicit activity was going on concurrently, including in regards to the Centers for Disease Control. I reported it. I let them know. I acknowledged. Within a very strategic benchmark date later, there were allegations that China had hacked the U.S. military. I contacted somebody who told me they had an office right here, scheduled a time to meet them so I could give them evidence connected to cybersecurity. But overnight, somebody swapped out the accounts after they spied on me and hooked me up for a kickback on local transportation. I don't believe in war games. You don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to say your gaming economy, that also includes sexual violence and acts of coercion, is somehow legitimate, and then a couple months later blame another country for hacking something when I know damn well what was in their crosshairs. Several months ago, I watched as there were announcements about movements of refugees between countries. There was a certain number of a certain kind, and by the way, age group of refugee that was being allowed to get housing and placement and consideration within certain European countries. I've been seeing this for years. At some point, when they were reconsidering matters related to the European pension system, changes occurred in the underwriting. I watched as the people of Greece responded as they did in 2014 and 2015, and I watched what was done. Then we got Brexit. Somehow Brexit was allowed to occur, but what Greece did was not. In the meantime, there's been these situations where Turkey, that has been a large recipient of refugees displaced because of what's going on elsewhere, including in Syria specifically, has made announcements. And one time they said that they were going to allow over 1 million refugees to go into Europe at a specific time. They do this periodically. They transfer assets in the form of refugees, and nobody talks about it like that. If you track it, you can find out some very significant findings. Apparently, there was a fire at a refugee camp in Greece yesterday. There's fires all over the United States. Are they connected to use of directed energy weapons? Why don't the people who are getting contracts as some sort of emergency relief acknowledge that? I believe that fire was a sign. I don't think they like the refugee camp model. But the problem is because of the refusal of anybody to take responsibility for what's actually going on, they may have regressed into some sort of prurient capture and release mentality. I think that's what they're trying to do. What is one to do if nobody acknowledges what the actual problem is? I do the best I can. But I'm supposed to be grateful that I'm indoors after spending years on the streets, accumulating enough political capital for other people to think that they're entitled to elected office without getting back to me on the open reports which accrue as defaults that someone uses. Well, I mean, somebody would have to acknowledge the use of directed energy weapons before we could actually appropriately account for it. Hmm. I'm acknowledging today. I said that there were 10 business days a significant time ago. Now you're down to 5.